Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today is our first Primal Origin card discussion video. Today's video will be on the two cards Yuma used, and we'll start off with a Zexal Weapon Banish Sage, which is a level 1 light warrior effect monster with 500 attack and 100 defense. And its effect is, if you control a Utopia monster, you can draw one card. During the battle phase, if a face-up monster or monsters you control is banished, except during the damage step, banish this card from the field, then target one of those banished monsters, special summon that target, and if you do, banish one monster with 3,000 or less attack your opponent controls. You can only use one Zexal Weapon Banish Sage effect per turn and only once that turn.
So this guy is really nice. Banish Sage it's a very helpful card because if nothing else, you have it summoned on the field, and if you have a Utopia, you can draw an extra card per turn. Even if you never use the banish effect, that's nice. You just have this monster out with a Utopia, you can draw a card a turn, which is its first effect and very nice. But the other nice thing is during the battle phase, if a face-up monster you control is banished, you can banish Sage to get that monster back, and then you can banish one of your opponent's monsters unless it's above a very sizable attack amount. So.
Yeah, but you are going to want to watch out, because if you do use its effect to draw a card, you won't be able to use its effect if your monster, or one of your monster or monsters are banished from the field, in order to banish one of your opponent's monsters and special summon your banished monster. So that's a bit unfortunate. You have to decide between drawing that turn and doing an attack, but that shouldn't be too hard. You figure upon the situation you have on the field, whether you have protection or something like that to prevent certain banishing effects.
And the one nice thing is, I mean, obviously that's an effect that can be used either turn, because it's just during the battle phase. So if your opponent banishes your monster on their turn, then you can trigger that without even having to worry about that. Now the one really nice thing is this card is like a one-card combo with Beyond the Hope, because Beyond the Hope's effect is a quick effect that lets you can detach a material to banish an Xyz monster you control to special summon back a Utopia from the graveyard. So when you banish that monster, and obviously this has to be done during the battle phase to trigger Banish Sage's effect, but since it's a quick effect you can do that. You banish your Xyz monster, summon back Utopia, then banish Sage to get your Xyz monster back, and then you banish something of your opponent's. So it's very easy to do that. It's a very powerful effect in that respect.
Yeah, and then another nice thing about this card is that it is pretty easy to get out from the deck with warrior support, like Reinforcement of the Army, or also you can get it back from the grave with the warrior returning alive, allowing you to potentially reuse this card.
If it dies by normal means.
If it does happen to be destroyed, if you don't have like the Utopia protection from preventing your opponent from attacking it, since it is just going to be on the field and it's kind of a weak monster. So
that's obviously kind of its main drawback, is the fact that it's just a weak monster, but it has an incredibly powerful effect, so it makes up for it. Alright, and then secondly, the other card Yuma used from this set is Reverse Breaker. Now it's an equipped spell card with the effect of, you can only equip it to your Utopia monster, and when the equipped monster declares an attack, you can target one spell or trap card your opponent controls and destroy that target, and your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards in response to this effect's activation.
So this card sort of allows you to destroy some annoying spells or traps, allows you to get off a destruction to prevent perhaps a Mirror Force from going off from destroying your Utopia monsters if you don't have additional Zexal weapon support, perhaps.
Especially because particularly they've also, with another card from Dragons of Legend, they're introducing actual more equipped spells for Utopia rather than the Zexal weapon. So this is a very powerful one that just is an equipped spell if you don't want to waste a monster space for some of the other, like for example Eagle Claw, which is the one that can negate trap cards. So this can just be an equipped spell version of that and not as difficult to summon and use. So
yeah, and then it also gives you potential, since it is a magic card, and if you already have one in the field, you can use the likes of like Summoner Monk to help get additional Utopias out onto the field.
And one nice thing is, unlike the Zexal weapons, this card would feasibly be stackable. So if you had 2 of them and equipped them both to the same Utopia when it attacked, you would destroy 2 spell or trap cards.
But I guess that's it for Yuma's cards in Primal Origin. We hope you enjoyed, and of course leave your comments below on what you thought about these cards, and we'll be bringing you more Primal Origin very soon.